Hello, hello, how are you? I hope you're keeping well, and I truly hope that you're keeping safe. My name is Mary Nabura, and I'm an events consultant, and I am a businesswoman. And I'd like to welcome you to my channel where we discuss all things events and business. Now, today we are at ParkInn by Radisson at the Events Terrace. It's getting a bit warmer. It's a lovely place to sit and chill out. It's a lovely place to even have an event if you're thinking of having a cocktail and you want it outdoors, especially during this pandemic season where everyone is talking about, social distancing and everything. So make sure you pass by. I want to give a big thank you to Floral Art for this amazing floral arrangement that you see here that is really sprucing up the environment for us. Now, today we also want to thank Aquatronics Studios for handling all our video production. Now, we're still moving on with the Resilience series. And oh boy, it's been a nice journey hearing how different events experts have pulled through this pandemic season. This is a series where we learn what people did to pull through the 2020, what they're currently doing, and they also get to give us advice as to what we should be doing right now. Now, today I'm really excited because I have a lady here called Lynkie Kangethe of Lynkie Events. Now, this is why I'm extremely happy. It's because she has reinvented herself so many times. And she is such a go-getter that I'm sure by the time you're done with this interview, you'll be like, yes, I can do this. Not only is she an events consultant, not only does she run a corporate event planning firm that focuses on creating platforms for brands to showcase themselves, but she's also my consultant. So I am putting her on the hot seat today and I'm asking her the questions and she'll have to answer my questions today and not vice versa. So thank you so much for coming, Lynkie. How are you?
Fantastic. Glad to be here.
Yes, I am excited to have you here because we've had this discussion. We've talked a lot in my private sessions where you've helped me to figure out myself as a brand. And it's so weird that we were in the same events industry, but we never knew each other until 2020, when we all had to figure out, what's going on. So I really appreciate you being here today. Tell me, when COVID hit, what was your first response?
Fantastic. I think I just went shut a bit because we had in Feb we had an event in Ethiopia where we were doing an expo for furniture. So then we were coming back to March, then to go to Turkey to do another furniture expo in Turkey. And by the time we were coming back, the borders were shut in March.
Wow.
And you are in a state of, you actually do not even understand what exactly is going on.
My goodness.
Yes.
Were you did it get shut when you were out or were you in?
We were in.
Okay.
Actually, it was the end of Feb. So we were now coming into for 1 week and then we leave for Turkey. And then it was shut. But even when we were in Ethiopia, we realized that, like some countries could not come in, like Italy, because of the restrictions. They were the most affected. So it also affected our business because they had booked, but they did not turn up. So it also affected that particular event because they could not come into the country. And coming back into Kenya, even in the airport, you could find, there's just too much on the other end in terms of checkouts on the COVID and with masks and too much restrictions. Then we just come here, just a week later, everything is shut. And yeah, it was one of those situations. You actually are in a space where you don't understand exactly what's going on. You're like, okay, wait a minute, what just happened? Yeah, so that's the space we got ourselves into, like not understanding.
You've mentioned something, and I probably should have started with this. Lynkie Events is, you talk about creating platforms.
Yes.
You are based in Nairobi, Kenya.
Yes.
And I remember the first time we met, I think I was flabbergasted, if there's such a word.
Yes.
How is it that you're in Kenya
Yes.
and you're doing events in Ethiopia? And I remember watching that interview or during the news, I'm not too sure, but I remember watching the interview.
Yes.
It was a press conference, actually.
Yes.
And then you're going to Turkey again. How does that work? I mean, that's why I'm calling you a go-getter. Like, go girl.
Nice. So Lynkie Events Limited creates platforms for brands. Every time, especially for corporates, because our major is in the corporate space. When a corporate is doing an event, their return on investment, what their focus is on the brand, either the product or the service that they're providing as a company. That means as we launch out their brand, we are either showcasing their product or service through an expo. We are either, giving a conference in terms of the service that they're doing. And in terms of even nationalities, you find a nationality wants, like maybe Kenya wants to showcase their expertise in tourism. That's a service. And if they want to showcase their product is coffee, maybe they're the best in coffee.
Yeah.
So what means they prepare an expo to display their product as a nationality. So you find most countries want to have business linkages between countries and countries, showcasing their products and services to other countries. So that's where we come in and create this platform where they're able to interact and exchange business as well.
Was this always the plan? How did you get into that? I know your teacher.
Actually, this is how we started in, and how I got the passion for positioning corporates as a brand is when I started doing book launches. I had a challenge because most Kenyans don't read Kenyan brands. They don't read books for Kenyan authors. And it was a worry for me because if I read a book from America, they don't know who I am to be an African and a Kenyan. Why am I passionate about reading their story? Why don't we appreciate our Kenyan stories? And then I realized the difference is how our authors branded themselves. They sell the book instead of selling themselves. Right now, Marion, if you walk into a bookshop, you will buy any book for John Maxwell. Why? He's positioned himself as a brand.
Yes.
You are actually not buying the topic. And you just know any book John Maxwell has written has to be a good book. So then I realized, wow. So the secret is positioning the brand. The owner of the brand. How then do I position, Marion as the brand? Then people will start asking, what does she do? So then we realize that that's the key thing. And you will also notice even some corporate companies, they are very keen on who they hire as their CEO.
Yes.
Because it will be an attraction to the company if the brand as the CEO is important. So a brand can be a product, a service, or a person. Yes.
Well done. I mean, you've literally packaged it in such a different way, which is awesome. So now let's get back to the COVID story. So you've come back, shut down. Where are we at? What's happening? How do we deal? What happened next for you?
So after now things shut, and we actually all of us were home. So it was a good time to just process in because no one was going to work. The whole country was home. So then it was a time for even just to process. And one of the things I've realized as a business leader, You actually are the core of the team, the suppliers, and even the clients. They're asking you, what next, what happens, what's gonna happen after this. Is it a postponement of the event? Is it a cancellation? And so it's back and forth on emails. Even the country that you're also emailing, they actually are in. Some are even affected by it. Their
Yes.
relatives are already affected. They're not even in the space to discuss business at that time.
Correct.
So then it was a space of just saying, let's just fast focus on being sane. Putting your mind together and understanding, sanity, and just appreciating the fact that you're healthy and well.
Yes.
And if that is the core, then business will come, because you can't work when you're unhealthy. You can't
True.
work, Marion, when you're gone.
Correct.
You can only work when
Correct.
you're alive. And then, even as you work, you need to be very sane.
As you're saying it, I'm actually feeling it.
Yes,
like
you have to be
sane.
You have to be sane.
Yeah.
Because you realize this is something that, no one would understand what's going on. Even the government of Kenya, even the government of anywhere else would not understanding what's going on. Can you imagine?
So you literally took time to
Yes.
process.
I took time to process.
When did you wake up? Around which month did you wake up?
I like moving things. So and it's one of the things that I actually even just tell God to just help me cool down, because I just cooled down for 1 month in March. In April I was back and running and moving, and actually when things were just opened up and we just had curfews, then we just started going to the office, and the first thing that we started doing is just communicating to our clients, because we had clients who had paid up for their trips, and we had to travel for these expos, and it was not able to be done anymore. And when you talk to the other suppliers, they are actually going through the same thing. Some are not even in the office, you can't even reach them. So the first thing we did was to communicate to our clients that yes, we understand, you've paid up, and this is what is happening, and we're going to get things back, and we are following through for you. Don't worry. If there's a postponement, we are going to let you know. If you want your money back, we will find out how we can make sure that you get it. So it's just communication, and communication is actually very, very important, because I realized that some would actually understand the process of what we've gone through, because we were not aware this is gonna happen. We just didn't.
We were all caught unawares.
We were caught unawares. So we had very good clients who actually just said, okay, fine, let's and of course our work was to tell them what's next after this. We were not certain, but we assured them wherever side it is, either is to refund the money, even though it will take time, or either it's gonna be a postponement of the events. It's definitely gonna be done to your favor. Yeah.
Then what happened after that?
Then one of the things that I just realized is we've actually been positioning brands for events platforms, but you can still position a brand as you wait for an event platform.
It's like a supply chain.
Yes.
So you're like, it's either backward integration or forward integration.
Yes. You can still position a brand. And right now, we are still positioning brands because we have the online space. And the most exciting thing is that I love contact relationship with people. Like, I'm a people person. So that means I love the physical space.
Yes.
More than I do the online space.
I think you mentioned I know you're one of the few people who's like, Marion, I really, really like face-to-face events. I don't like the virtual. And you know what? It's okay. I know we are all trying to say, let's embrace the virtual events and everything. But I think everyone has a different period of adapting, and you're just one of those people who's just like, I still love, and it's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
I love the physical one, but of course we had to face reality that is not possible for this particular time. So that means if you position the brand, then how? Because when a corporate or a person is positioning their brand or even doing an event, they either want to create visibility, awareness, brand positioning, understanding your brand audience. So all that we had to put in mind in the online space.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get your, brand audience in the online spaces? So that's how we started now focusing on positioning the brand more. So by the time we are either going to have the physical or even doing the virtual one, the brand is already positioned.
Correct.
And we actually started having clients who are now saying, oh, wow, I can still position my brand. That means, and one of the things that has got me very, very excited is to position business owners.
Yay!
It's got me very passionate because I realized before we had platforms to network physically. I would give you my business card and we would chat a bit and I would tell you what I've done, my experiences. We don't have that opportunity anymore. So that means we've moved to create profiles where we do personal profiles, personal branding. And when you send someone the personal profile, Marion, they are able to understand all about you out of a WhatsApp profile you've sent them.
Yeah.
Because me just knowing you for the title doesn't give me the attraction and, of course, the relationship that, wow, I think I need to connect more with you. But if the profile, you have a detailed profile, at least, then you're able to give more information about what you've done and your experiences. And even it tells to your audience, this is the kind of audience I'm looking at. So that has been very exciting. So that's
can you say that, thank you for mentioning that. I didn't know if you were going to mention it. But would you say that helped to sustain the business and helped you to cover your expenses?
Yeah, it did. Because you know now, because you in an event, what pays you more is the numbers. The more the attendees are there, then the more the numbers are there. So then you have to flip and say, because you have this one client who is looking for all these numbers, then how do you then position them? So then we now started looking at ways to get income by still branding them as we get either to the virtual or either eventually into the physical. But at least, yes, we actually started getting traction from the branding space.
Yeah, because my next question was going to be, Lynkie, you're one of the few event planners that I know in Kenya. Nairobi. Let me start with Nairobi.
Yes.
Who does not do deco.
Yes.
Does not do tents and intentionally decided,
yes,
I am not going to do tents.
Yes.
I am not going to do chairs or
yes,
any of that.
Yes.
Right? And you purely focused on planning in creating platforms for these brands through events. And your offices are still open.
You know,
your
interesting.
Offices are still open.
You know, interesting. Before, I kind of usually would feel, oh my goodness, at times you can be so unique and find like everyone else is doing something. Why am I not still doing it? But I realized that when I came into the events, and that's why we are called a corporate events management company. We are not a supplier. People get very confused. If you tell someone you do events, they'll think about decor, chairs, and tents. That's what they think about.
Which is the truth. Yes.
It is so
Which
true.
Is true.
So if you explain someone to what you do, that you do corporate events management, then they're like, okay, what is that? One of the things that is very key for corporates is, did my audience during that event buy into my brand?
Yes.
So that means as a management company, I have to position that brand. But for the supplier, is just to make sure the seats are there and the tables are there and the setup is there and the photographers are there. But for the corporate, that's not the core.
What the core is the message.
The core messaging is the message. Because what happens, the difference between a social event and a corporate event, a social event, you want to have flashy everything. The cake, the wine, the food, you want to make sure your guests are full. They are totally very full. The corporate is looking at what the audience full of our brand.
Yes.
Have they bought into our brand?
Yes.
That's their core. It's fine. They would want you to have that cocktail and they want you to have that,
have a good time.
Have a good time. But their core return on investment was their brand bought in by the audience. So then that's what we do. And events have 3 levels. There's the pre-event, the main event, and the post-event. The pre-event is where we do a lot of brand positioning and the brand awareness. The main event is now where you just involve the suppliers, because you can't have a main event without the seats
suppliers, yes.
and without the MC and everything. So that means the pre-event takes even longer than even the main event. So that's where most of the time is actually taken in to plan the event, which is the pre. And the pre determines, because you're going to be there in that event for 2 hours, the pre-event will determine, will you communicate the right thing during the 2 hours? So that's what we plan for all those maybe 2 months or 8 weeks, for those 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yes, to make sure that you position your brand rightly.
So that's what helped you to sustain, because my question is, your office is still open?
Yes.
You're still paying rent?
Yes. Of course, it was a bit slow at first, but we had clients even who said, "Oh, you can still manage your brand even as we waiting for the events to happen." And we had clients who even we did for their virtual event. Yeah, and we did that virtual event. It was very interesting because we did for it was, their office was in Uganda. They have an office in Kenya, but the event was for Uganda. We did it here in Kenya, and we did Kenya, Uganda, and Germany.
Nice.
And yes.
And it worked.
It worked. We had, of course, a few hinges here and there. That every time now we are doing even the hybrid and the virtuals and stuff, we're becoming better at it.
Because you keep doing it over and over again.
Yes.
Tell me, as we get close to winding up, what are the lessons that you have learned during this period?
Wow.
What is your take? Like, what are things you're like, I didn't know this pre-COVID?
Yeah.
Now?
I know.
Yeah.
One of the things I've realized is to be very intentional about exactly what you want to achieve at the end, because then it helps you be resilient. Because if then challenges come, then they can really weigh you down if you don't know what's your end goal. You're saying, I want to achieve this. Even when this has come, I'm going to, just draw myself back a bit, and then I will let myself process and get back. Allow yourself to go in either the heart, the process of loss, and what's going on, and just know you did not have control over it. No one wants such a situation in the whole world.
Yeah.
So just understanding, and that helps build resilience, to understand that it's there's nothing I can do about it. Just relax and just know that my end goal is that I'm gonna get it. I just need to just draw back a bit and relax. So I would just say that I have learned that it's important to draw back and just understand that the end goal will still be accomplished, not in the way I had planned to.
Exactly. I think that's what everyone is like. I knew I would be successful, but this is not, the way I saw it, or I wanted to do an event and we still did it, but it was not how we wanted. We thought we were going to have many people in the room, and now it's on a virtual or an online platform. But the thing is, you still achieved the goal.
And actually, it's important to adapt, because if you're rigid, then it actually can hit on you. Yeah. And especially for us in the event space, you can't even afford to be rigid. Oh, I don't want to get to the virtual space. Oh, I don't want to position this brand to this. You can't afford to be rigid, because then you'll be left behind. Any
other lesson that you learned?
Any other lesson that I learned is communication. I learned it's important to just communicate and just talk it out and say what's happening and what's going on. So it's also important to communicate. And another thing that I learned is it's important to just have mentors that you can just tell, oh, this is what's up, and they actually show you a different way of thinking, and you're like, wow,
this is a different way. Well, the reason why I'm nodding my head to mentors is because I approached Lynkie in last year, I think, and I really needed help to figure out how to put everything together that I was doing, the YouTube channel, my trading skills, just how to package it. And Lynkie was there to help me in my personal branding. So we're not there yet, I haven't achieved yet, but at least I'm on that journey. So yes.
You know, one of the things that I look at you right now, Marion, and I'm just wow. I'm like, it's not good that COVID happened, but it's fine. Like, if this is what Marion is doing, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember even during that time, I just listened to, your video online, and I was like, my goodness, Marion, you're so encouraging, just to even just, you're understanding the pain in the event space, and you just want to tell them, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be okay. Like, it's not the end of the world. And just listening to you, then you understand that even what the enemy meant for evil, God is just bringing out talents.
Yeah.
That we did not know of. Like, we just knew this is the lady in the wedding space. If you ever want that glamour wedding, but look at you now. You are the best moderator ever. I'm like,
thank you. Take that to the bank. But really, I just like the fact that you, I don't know if it's backward or forward integration, but you took your job, which was creating platforms for brands, and the method that you used, which was based on people meeting, you then morphed it and changed it and said, then the brand is also the business owner. So how can we do that? And that's what brought you through. And that is just amazing. You're one of the few people, I keep saying, who has, yes, you reduced your expenses, I know, but you've managed to maintain your same lifestyle. And I think a lot of people should listen to you and should contact you. So guys, if you really want to know more about how to make your brand visible and how to create a platform for your brand as the business owner, as the CEO, as whoever you are, then Lynkie Kangethe is a person to talk to. So I just want to take this time to thank you so much, so much for coming today. And as I do that, I'm going to give you 1 minute to think about what your parting shot to the industry would be. Anyone in business or in the event space, and you'll look straight into that camera while I say thank you so much for joining us today. A big thank you to ParkInn by Radisson again. A big thank you to Aquatronics Studios for doing our video production, and to Floral Art for our lovely floral arrangements. Now, Lynkie, over to you for the parting shot. I cannot wait for this. In fact, let me sit properly.
Fantastic. And I think this goes to the events space, and even to the business owners that I'm very passionate about as well, is that you may have it lined up on how you want to achieve your goal. The ultimate goal is that you want to have a successful business. That's the ultimate goal. And at times, life doesn't give you the opportunity to go in the steps that you planned. Just adjust. Adjust and go for it. Let nothing stop you. Don't even stop yourself. Just go for it. And one of the things that you understand in business, even as you have even doing business before, is that it always doesn't turn up the way you want it to turn up. But it's just spicing it up and just, putting yourself together and saying, what? My end goal is to get it done, and I will get it done.
You heard it right here. Your end goal is to get it done, and you will get it done. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week with another series. Thank you.